Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Happy Sunday, blessed Sunday. We just want, sometimes I see that my camera, the minute that I start Facebook, something seems to have a little glitch. I noticed it yesterday, the minute I went live, and it did it again. So I'm going to be going off and on camera as I see it. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Elevate Her.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's all about healing the mind, the body, and soul.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the title says her, it's all about, it's beneficial to men, beneficial to children, right? So, but we are women, so we're going to focus on her. We have some amazing guests, panelists, experts today that we're going to share. And let me introduce, in fact, I will introduce as we go, because I know some people have a really busy schedule for today. And so we want to get started. Let me introduce myself. My name is Donna Morton, and I am the president of Women of Culture Incorporated, president of Caribbean American Diaspora Alliance, Florida real estate broker, Florida Summer Homes Realty, and life coach, spiritual coach, and mentor, mindset mentor at Inner Vibez Consultant. So I wear many hats, and so you see, that's why I need all the flowers and the love behind to be wrapped in the entire time, right? So before we get started, we just want to take a few minutes. We're going to have a quick prayer by Palmina Gordon.
Thank you. 1 Thessalonians 5:18 reminds us that in everything we should give thanks. And as we gather today, we want to say thank you. We want to say thanks for the opportunity to come together to serve each other. We want to say thanks for the opportunity to come and give of ourselves, to encourage, to motivate, to inspire. We want to thank Donna for taking the time and the commitment and dedication to make this event possible. We are thankful and grateful for every speaker that will share. We know that what they will impact and impart with us is just the tip of the iceberg as to who they are and their experience. And I pray that more than anything else, you will put our hearts and our mind and our spirit in a place to receive it, dear God, because if you have allowed us to be here, then we know you have prepared something for us. I pray even now that we would be intentional to quiet the distraction, that we can receive, dear God, that which we need right now to elevate her, to elevate the giant that is within each of us waiting to come forward. And I believe that 2023 is the year for us to shine and thrive and create impact and have abundance like we've never experienced before. So with this, we thank you and we commit this event into your hands in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And again, summary of this forum is we're each going to share our tips, because it takes a village to raise a child and support. And sometimes you may get a tip from one person and a tip from another it's so beneficial. So we're going to start. Julie Ward, and we're starting with Julie, and then we we are going to, Julie's in the US. This is a global forum, so we like to jump around. Julie's in the US. She's got an appointment, so she has to leave. Then we're going to jump to Uganda and hear from Jackie. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, Julie. Julie's an herbalist, plant nutritionist, and her tip is going to be on healing the body. Welcome, Julie.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. So glad to be here with you ladies. This is definitely a powerhouse event. And so thank you for having me. I totally appreciate it. I'm grateful to be here. And so as an herbalist, it's so funny you said her tip is going to be on the body. And you know, and you and I have had this conversation so many times. Sometimes it's more than just food. You know, it takes a very holistic approach to really being well and to creating to being well in your body. And so my tips actually, there are 4 of them, and they kind of go hand in hand. So obviously, as an herbalist and a plant-based nutritionist, nutrition is key, right? And being able to eat, and I'm coming from a plant-based perspective, so I know there are people out there that eat meat, and I totally get it and understand it. But if you can reduce that, you know, depending on the type of meat you eat, how often, et cetera, you really want to start to pull back on some of that. And I know people are going to be like, where am I going to get my protein? Reach out, you know, because I can tell you, I've been plant-based for 30-something years. I have not had a protein deficiency. And I always tell people the meat you eat doesn't eat meat. And so when you begin to think about it like that, that protein eats grass. And so it's really about amino acids. It's really about the 9 essential amino acids and being able to get that from the food we eat and getting that from vegetables. So, you know, one of the things, even on my own spiritual journey, the very first thing I looked at was my food, right? Being able to eat food that did not make me feel heavy, that did not make me feel bogged down, or noticing how when I would eat my food, how my mood would shift. And there were times when I would eat and I would become like sad. We all know about the itis, right? But the itis puts you on the couch and then you're out. But then it's also about being sad and then kind of depressed. And I was like, okay, so I've got to change something. So one of the tips is, if you don't eat a lot of vegetables, start eating vegetables with every meal. That's the first tip. You know, greens, you can eat greens at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can have all greens. You can eat more fruit, you know, making sure that that shows up on your plate. You know, are you eating a plate for healing and for well-being, or are you eating a plate for death? You know, those are 2 questions you can ask yourself. What's on my plate? And if you look at your plate, you can also say, what's on my plate? Do I love myself enough to take care of myself and treat myself well? And so that's always one of the things we look at. And so from that, I go to nature. And so there is a rule about getting out of nature if you're not able to do it. And as today I just came and I did a forest bathing event. And so I also teach forest bathing. We go out into the garden and it's a 2-hour experience. It's meditation. It's also sitting with trees. And it's known also in Japan as Shirin-yoku. That's where it came from. And that came about because we're inside the offices too much. So in 1980s in Japan, there was the tech boom, and there was a large increase in cancer. And so doctors began to prescribe going outside more. And so there's a rule, I don't know if this one came from Japan so much, but it's called 25-3. So spending 20 minutes outside a day, every day, if you can, just going to sit outside under a tree. 3 days a week, 5 days a week out in a park or something, 5 days a month, just for an hour, right? And then 3 days out of the year, like off grid, like going camping. And so the 20-minute, like it's 5 hours, being able to be that 5 times a month. And then also 3 times a day going 3 days a year, being able to go off grid, just making sure that we connect more with nature. And that's what nutrition is 1, nature is 2, and then spirituality. And so when you think about, I grew up Christian and Christian Science. I grew up Methodist and Christian Science, and spirituality is huge in terms of really understanding our place in the world, our place in the planet, our place in God's world. And so whatever that is for you, being able to connect to that, because that will actually get you through so much. And I'm sure everybody here has a testimony about how God's got them through and where they came from, et cetera, et cetera. And it's important to recognize that, and knowing that we are all individual expressions of the one source. And that being the case, we need to be able to see God in each other. Being able to recognize that and touch into that, and seeing God in ourselves enough to be able to say, my temple, my body is holy, and I want to treat it as such, right? This is the temple that houses my spirit, and I need to take care of it, right? We came to this earth to be able to experience the planet, and we're made of the planet. That's why when dust to dust, right? Ashes to ashes, we go back to that space. And so it's important to know, to be able to honor and treat our bodies well, right? And then the last one is play. So I'm coming to the end of my 15 minutes, but the last one is play, because we got to play. We get so caught up in our, where's the money? Where's the abundance? Where's my love? Where's this? Where's that? When was the last time you just sat down on the floor now and just played, like whatever that is to you? Growing up as a kid, we played jacks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with jacks.
Oh, yeah.
Jacks. When's the last time you played jacks? When's the last time you jumped rope? When is the last time, you climbed a tree? Be careful. Some of us are older, you can't always get up there like we used to. But just, when was the last time we just laughed and enjoyed and played and did all of that in nature, just laid out under the sun? We have to take time to do that. That is another way to reconnect. Play is all about serotonin and increasing serotonin in our bodies, in addition to increasing that connection with our God selves, right? It's all about that sense of wonder, that childlike wonder in the world, which it just totally switches perspective on my day and what I'm thinking and everything else. So you just get up feeling good. So between nutrition, nature, really connecting with your spirituality, and play, and really knowing who you are and whose you are in the world is how we uplift. And I know that I have to go at some point, Donna, but I don't know if it's now a good time for me to tell people where to find me.
Sure, yes.
Oh, perfect. And so for those that, I do have programs that I help people do these things. And so you can find me at Julie, J-U-L-E, at Fresh Food Alchemy, ALCHEMY. That's my nutrition, and that's .com. Julie at freshfoodalchemy.com. The website for nutrition is freshfoodalchemy.com. My IG, those of you that are on Instagram, right? Reach out to me on Instagram, social media. It is there's an underscore. So @_spirit alchemy. So on Instagram, I do more of the spiritual things. You'll see more forest bathing there. You'll see more of really how to get in tune and in touch and readings. Yeah. And so please reach out anytime because I love to help, and that's what I'm here for. So I do, which is why I do readings. So I do shamanic readings. I'm a shamanic practitioner, a spiritual practitioner, an herbalist, a nutritionist, and a certified health coach. And so for me, it's about the big picture to help women elevate themselves and really being able to reach, and not even reach, but to become who they fully are, right? And imagine if we were all who we fully were in the world, it'd be a beautiful place. Nobody would need anything else from anybody else. If we could just be who we were meant to be. So I thank you, and I appreciate this time and you allowing me to speak now. Hope that wasn't too fast.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Julie. I've never heard of, well, I've heard it, but I don't know if anyone else has heard of the tree bat. Can you just give us a second on that?
Yeah, forest bathing.
Forest bathing.
Yeah, and so forest bathing again it comes from Japan, and the term is shirin-yoku, and it's all about just spending time in nature. And so the technical scientific reasoning behind it is because when you go out into nature, trees particularly give off a chemical called phytoncide, and that chemical, when it comes into our bodies, the human bodies, increases our white blood cell account and boosts our immune system. And so we have an extreme symbiotic relationship with nature, which we don't really think about. And we go into that, and I really get people to kind of settle down and meditate into that space, because when we breathe, right, if you just think about your breath every day, if you begin to think about your breath as a gift, when I breathe out CO2, the trees breathe it in and give me back oxygen. And so we have an extreme symbiotic relationship with nature. And so if you just breathe and you're walking down and you just think about, just imagine just thinking about your breath as a gift to nature. Your breath is a gift to a tree, and sitting under that tree and receiving its gifts to you, which are all about boosting your immune system. And so when forest bathing, Shirin-yoku became a thing in Japan, the incidences of cancer began to go down. And so just spending that time in nature more so, instead of in your office and being, so on our computers all the time, began to decrease that. So that's in a nutshell.
Wow. So amazing, because we have moved away from nature. Back home in the Caribbean, we didn't even have AC, really. Most of us just open windows, and then we always get the fresh air coming in. We moved abroad, and everything is locked up in the AC and the recycled air, all of that. So I'm glad that you have something like that that's going on here in Orlando, Julie. Forest bathing. Thank you so much. And I know you have to leave. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I forgot to mention forest bathing. You can go to I do it at Mead Garden. So if you go to Mead Garden's website, for those of you that are in Orlando, and the next one is in 2 weeks, we do them twice a month at Mead Garden. So February 5th is the next one. And it's Mead Botanical Garden. And if you go to their website and go into calendar, you'll see it. The next one is February the 5th. Or reach out to me and I can send you the link.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your tips on how to elevate her. We are going to move right along to Uganda, and we've got Jackie Catalea, who's a mental health consultant, and she's going to share her tips on why mental health matters. Welcome, Jackie.
Hello, everyone. Donna, thank you so much for the opportunity. I guess I can be heard by most of you, and I'm sorry, like my network could be on and off, but kindly bear with me. My name's Jackie Tumsima Butera, Catalea. Catalea means flowers, and I'm so amazed actually to see Donna surrounded by flowers and beautiful flowers. And I'm glad that I'm connected with beautiful people. Like I feel so much connected to women, powerful women who are on their good course to transform the world. Like I wish I met some of you back then as a young woman who did not have a purpose, nor vision, or something to keep me on track. Like it's okay, you're okay. It's okay to be you. It's okay to love yourself. It's okay to be who you are. I'll share a little bit about my story that led me to starting up an NGO about mental health. I used to be that girl who never had a vision, no a purpose. I didn't have a reason as to why I had to wake up and do anything, because I didn't have anything to wake up to. And I really went through a lot, like relationship-wise and non-loving myself. Self-love is so important. I'm gonna talk about that. I never loved myself at all. Like if anyone just told me you're ugly, of course I would believe them. That's some time ago. And if anyone just told me that you're stupid, of course I would believe that. Those are some of the problems we still face in society. There is a young woman out there who is told that she's stupid or she's ugly. She's body shamed like all over the world, and they believe them. But I'm so glad that on Women of Culture, like I really appreciate this initiative that we can really help women. The reason as to why I said I wish I made an initiative like this some time back. Of course, life wouldn't have been the same by then. I would have been a powerful woman by now, but all thanks to God that it was a journey. It was a beautiful journey that birthed my purpose and birthed my vision. That's why I'm connecting with you now to help other women elevate their game to be able to face the world. So when it comes to mental health, we know that women are prone to internalizing mental illnesses like anxiety and depression, while men are just prone to that out kind of thing, drug abuse, alcoholism, externalizing. So as women, what are we going to do to make sure that we don't be victims of mental health, of depression, of anxiety? We have gender-based violence. We are the most victims when it comes to gender-based violence. That means women like us should step up and talk, share love, share how God has really helped us elevate our game to be the women we are right now. Most of us, when we overcome problems, we never want to share, and we never go to the point straight because we feel like our stories maybe shame us, or maybe we are going to wear a different picture in public or somewhere. But it's okay to share your story so that we can help other women all over the world. I believe I'm never ashamed of who I am and of the things I went through as a young woman, the breakups, the heartbreaks, the things that changed me, the things that they told me, you're stupid, you're dumb, you don't belong to society, all that. I'm never ashamed to share that story because I know it can change someone right now. So I urge each and every woman, most especially with Donna, you have led us here to come up together to share our stories, to share what we're going through. There is a lot of things going on when it comes to us women. Like I said, we are the most victims when it comes to, we are victimized, most especially in the social media era right now. We look at Instagram, you look at images of perfection, like we are so drowned into perfection. It's different from men because for them they can admire and walk away, but for us we internalize. Even the pictures we see all over the internet, we think that's perfection. I want to be like her. I want to do the things she does, but we don't know the behind the scenes. There is no one that is perfect. I want that thing to sink in, that we should really learn to accommodate our mistakes. We should really learn to allow ourselves to be us. It's okay to be you. Like this world, God created you, like the scripture says, I'm wonderfully and fearfully made. That should be the thing we should walk with, wearing our crowns and putting our heads high, that we are women that are created by God, the King. So we should carry ourselves like, yes, we are fearfully and wonderfully made, not living in comparison. Like, I want to be like Kim Kardashian, I want to be like so and so. No, it's okay to be you. It's okay to do you. It's okay to live the life you want. Just pray, love yourself. That's the number one thing. The moment I was going through my breakups and relationship issues, I realized the number one thing that led me to the journey of heartbreaks was because of not loving myself and expecting people to love me. How can you expect people to pour into your cup when you cannot also pour into your own cup? So, and I learned one thing, that you cannot pour from an empty cup. How can you even love another person if you cannot love yourself? This goes on and on, from family, your parents, your friends, and everyone around you. We should really try to first love ourselves. We are our own first love. We shouldn't expect anyone to love us first. It's ours first. Put yourself first. Like me, I remember I used to put people under pressure, like the people I used to date. I need this, I need that, but I could not even offer that to myself, of which that led me to a place of depression, anxiety. Of course, depression is not something that's around, that comes up just because of a relationship. It's a lot that comes up, piling up until you get to that point of severity, like it's too much. But self-love, I realized self-love was so much important. And until now, I prioritize self-love. I usually tell people, if you love yourself, you'll know who you are. Even the mental illnesses that affect other people, they won't affect you the same way, like the way they affect those people who don't love themselves. Right now, excuse me, I serve as an example because I've seen it work in my life, like waking up, praying, and talking to myself the way I would like Donna to talk to me, the way I would like anyone to address me. That's how I really address myself. I'm a daughter of a king. I love myself. That sense of belonging. I belong in this world. I'm a powerful woman because I bring change. So we should really help young women elevate their game, first to teach them how to love themselves. Love yourself. Like, it's not okay for you to compare yourself to anyone else on the internet. Like I said, perfection is a lie. It's a lie. There is no one that is perfect. So embrace your mistakes, love yourself, and pray to God. I remember some time back, Donna, you asked me, like, as Community Redemption Organization Uganda, what can we do for women? And it was kind of a tricky question because it was our organization is a general organization. But of course, as I say that women are so prone to mental illnesses. So I decided to start up something, and I wish it crosses different countries, what we call Better Together, where we can come up. It's an initiative, Better Together, whereby we can bring up women from different parts of the world, maybe like a cry together kind of thing. Someone confesses how they feel without being judged, without uh, feeling like for you, you don't belong here, you don't belong to this class of women. We are all daughters of God and daughters of the King. So the more we come together, women are a great force. For that one, I believe, and I still believe that women are a great force. Once we come together and help other women. I remember, like, last week, I was on Instagram. I texted some young woman. I told her, "You're beautiful and you have a beautiful smile." She was so surprised. She's like, "Really? Is it coming from a woman?" I'm so blessed. So I got so surprised of, like, why fellow women do we feel like we cannot help other women rise? Why can't I compliment Donna that you look good? Why can't I recommend Donna that there is a leadership position here, that there is something going on? Why can't we really help other women get to where they have to be? It all starts with us. Those are the questions we should help ourselves. When we came together here, I just don't want us to just speak about these things. Like, I want something whereby we can be action packed. It's okay, like, we're a few, but we can do something bigger and something that can change the world. I can compliment Donna and it's okay. I can pass on some good information to Donna. I can help educate a young lady in our society. I like it when we are role models, like you are, Donna, a lot of, and my fellow other women, a lot of women, like, are looking up to you. Let's be role models in our society. Let's teach young women that love yourself. It's okay. I'll support you. It's okay to support other women, not us becoming people who do evil, whereby complimenting someone, a fellow lady, it sounds like a surprise. Why should it sound like a surprise? We are sisters. That's how I consider it to be. We are sisters. We should consider supporting other women, making them support their goals, support how they feel, like, validate their feelings. It's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay. Everything is okay, and everything is going to be okay. It's okay to elevate young women. So, as I conclude, like Julie mentioned, when it comes to nature, I believe in nature so much. Nature has really helped me heal when it comes to mental health. We should consider all other women watching, considering visiting nature, doing nature works, and also embracing exercising, listening to music. That has really helped me. Journaling your thoughts, write down your thoughts, talk about how you feel every day, and also write. It's okay to be in your own feelings. It's okay to be in your own feelings. Just sit down and listen to yourself, how you feel. It's okay. Like what I usually tell people, it's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay not to be perfect. So as we've
Yeah.
started this, I pray that God helps us. And my number one tip has always been God. God has helped me overcome most of the wars that I thought I'll never overcome. So let's learn to pray. Praying is the key to everything. When you pray, there are things that are broken, chains are broken, mental health, mental illness is broken, like a lot is broken, generational curses. Don't think that where you come from, you're not supposed to get married, you're not supposed to do anything good in society. God should be first in life, in your life. And another thing I love to tell people, the last thing I love to tell people is that when it comes to mental health should not be ignored. Let's learn to speak up. And with Donna, we are going to talk more about how we can create a safe space to make sure that women feel they won't feel judged. They won't feel like someone is going to go behind my back and discuss my story. No, here we want a safe place where women can come together. We cry together, we pray together, we overcome together, we help women elevate their game. And also young women, whoever is watching, among the young women, just know that don't be under any society pressure when it comes to education, marriage, a body perfection, or anything. Anytime, God will do it for you, and God will bless you with anything you want in life, as long as you keep praying, as long as you keep honoring the word of God. Just honor God. Just pray the way you're supposed to pray. God will change your life in a minute. Just honor God.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. God bless you. I love you so much. And thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Jackie. All the way from Uganda. It's about 10 p.m. I think now. We appreciate you and overcoming your personal struggles and being able to speak about it and encourage others. God bless you. As we move on, everyone, we are going to go to, since we're on the topic of mental health, and I know our next panelist has to leave also, Marcia Amarsingh, who has, she is the founder of Amarsingh Integrative Counseling Services, and she will be teaching us about healing the mind. One thing before we go to Marcia, I know Julie mentioned before in another conversation that the food that we eat affects our mental health. A lot of times, especially with our children, we see all the ADD, ADHD, all these different behaviors. It's really the food. So sometimes we can just start by taking certain foods away and seeing how we react and how our family react to the food. Okay, food, music, there's a lot, there's a lot, but food definitely, you know, so let's pay attention. Let's get back to nature. Let's monitor our bodies. If you take a certain food away, monitor the next day. How does that make you feel? You know, we've gotten too accustomed to just running to get prescription pills, because once we get on that bandwagon, it really leads to different things and different conditions. So I forgot to mention that when Julie was here. So welcome, Marcia.
Thank you so much, Donna, for having me. And so my topic today is healing the mind. So first, I want to talk a little bit about what is the mind. So what's the definition of the mind? The mind is really a set of faculties responsible for all mental phenomena. Often the term is also identified with the phenomena themselves. These faculties include thoughts, imagination, memory, will, and sensation. They're responsible for various phenomena like perception, pain, experience, belief, desire, intention, and emotion. So where is the mind? We know when we ask this question, people will say, well, the mind is in the brain. So yes, for this purpose, the mind is in the brain. It is a construct though. It's the precise location is not known. It's often debated in science, and the brain is generally accepted as the origin of thought, and its thoughts being the result of signals between neurons. It is currently unknown if there is more specific location in the brain for things such as self-awareness. Therefore, the brain is the closest we can come to with the location of the mind. Now, what affects the mind? What are some things that affect the mind? So we have what we call emotional pain, and this affects the mind. So deep sorrow, sadness, depression, anxiety, grief, intense distress, loneliness, and isolation, negative emotions, panic, rage, shame, worthlessness, abuse of any kind, sexual, physical, verbal, emotional, or domestic violence, trauma, physical pain, substance use or abuse. Those are some things that will affect the mind and causes emotional pain. Now, what happens when you experience emotional pain and there is no healing is that it continues to a mental health diagnosis. So you have these uncontrollable reactive thoughts, inability to make healthy occupational or lifestyle choices. You might end up with dissociative symptoms, feeling of depression, shame, hopelessness, or despair. And this leads you right into mental health diagnosis, whether it's depression or anxiety or, bipolar disorder or schizophrenia or schizoaffective, many of you are familiar with these terms because you yourself have gone through extreme stress and emotional pain and have probably been told by your doctor that you are suffering from depression or anxiety. Now, let's look at my term that I call mental wellness, and this is healing the mind. What are some things that we do to heal the mind? So first of all, stress is a big problem. We already know that. And what is stress? Stress is really the feeling of the inability to cope. So if you feel overwhelmed, you're stressed, right? So stress management is of utmost importance here. And here are some things that you can do. I know Julie said that, and my friend in Uganda also mentioned something. So I'll just add to that. So it's really jogging and other aerobic exercises are very helpful because these stimulate neurotransmitters in your brain. So endorphins are produced when you exercise, right? You have different types of meditation, as Julie mentioned, prayer, yoga, and Tai Chi. Various progressive muscular relaxation exercises are very helpful. Autogenic training, deep breathing. So you can just sit still and do some real deep breathing. That is really, really helpful in managing stress and also lowering your anxieties. Massage therapists, visual imagery. Sometimes you just think of a safe space or a safe zone or a happy place, and you go there in your mind. And that metaphoric imagery that you have in your brain helps you to relax, right? It might be a childhood memory that you're carrying. And, for me, that would be maybe somewhere where there's farming or so, because I'm into farming, I love animals. So I would imagine maybe playing with my dog or something like that. And that would be very stress relieving for me. There's also self-hypnosis practices that are getting very popular. Then there are other mental wellness techniques such as acupuncture or acupressure. And recently, a lot of therapists have started doing EMDR. I can give you more information because we only have 15 minutes, so I won't get into real details, but I'm able to give you information if you want to. I can leave my contact as well. So we have EMDR therapists, we have biofeedback, Reiki is also very popular, and other bodywork or postural techniques. listening to music, hobbies, volunteer work, keeping a daily journal of events and how you feel, laughter. That's the best medicine. I laugh a lot. And I know that that is a lot of my stress relief, right? Playing with pets, taking short breaks, or shopping can also help you to relax. Others find relief for their stress-related symptoms from aromatherapy, nutritional supplements such as chamomile or spearmint, and even our popular St. John's wort. Now, a lot of people think that is a very useful, I don't want to call it vitamin, but a very useful herb for stress. And there are also prescription medications, worst case scenario. I don't push that, as Donna said, but sometimes you are at that stage where you definitely need some form of medication from your doctor. So there are tranquilizers, there are sedatives, there are hypnotics, there are antidepressants, there are beta blockers for different problems, different, if you have anxiety or heart condition leading up to anxiety or stress or anything like that. Then there are also technological devices. A variety of cranioelectromagnetic stimulation devices have been used and have been found to be effective for especially anxiety, insomnia, and drug-resistant depression. Then there is psychotherapy. So we have individual therapy and we have many different techniques. So you can see, different therapists with different strategies and different approaches. You have a DBT therapist for someone who practices mindfulness. You have CBT for the therapist who feels you maybe need to change your thought process and reframe your cognitions. You have psychodynamic who tells you about your childhood. You have, and motivational interviewing will confront you about what your ambivalence and so on and so forth. There's family therapy, couples therapy, group therapy, and there's also psychoeducational groups as well. In addition, we know family is really strong, so we want supports. So strong family supports is a powerful stress buster. But then you have other support groups as well. So for persons who are suffering from substance use disorder, Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, Smart Recovery are very helpful. And then we have church, we have religion, we have the mosque, we have the synagogue, we have different places of worship that you can go and different teachers of faith that you can go to as well. And there are also mental illness specific support groups. So there might be a support group in your neighborhood or in your town for depression. And there's one for anxiety. There's one, for dementia. There's one for Parkinson's. You can actually just go online and Google in your area, different support groups. And I'm pretty sure you'd be surprised to see how much you can find. And so without treatment, what happens? Without treatment, the consequences of emotional pain or mental illness is staggering. Untreated mental health conditions result in unnecessary disability, unemployment, substance abuse, homelessness, inappropriate incarceration, suicide, and poor quality of life. So it's really important in taking care of your mind, in taking care of your emotions, in taking care of your mental health. Thank you so much.
Wonderful tips, I should say. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Marcia, for sharing those. Again, our goal is to share tips so we can elevate her. When you're elevated, then you can elevate your family, elevate your children, elevate your community, elevate your marriages and your relationships, your projects. Everything kind of flows from within. If we are stressed out or in low vibes, I would say, the whole house suffers. Everybody feels it, right? So it's important that we've got to take time and it's a balance. So we're talking about mind, body, and the heart. because a lot of times we focus on just being healthy, but then we're stressed out.
Mhm.
So we have to understand that we need these three to be in balance. The thoughts, the heart, right? And the body. It all must be. We fuel our bodies 3 times a day. Some 5 more. But we don't take time to fuel our mind. We don't take time to fuel our hearts or our soul. So we're empty. So we accomplish all the career statuses, but we are empty because you didn't take time to fuel the heart or to fuel the soul. Right. So our next guest, we're going to talk about purpose. So we're jumping to Jamaica. And let me introduce to you Jerome King, who's the CEO of Jerome King Communication. And her time is going to share to tell us about finding purpose.
Okay, thank you, Donna. Thank you so much. You know, one of the things that I love about these talks that we have, Elevate You, Elevate Women, Elevate what we're doing, is that somehow every time we have a session, it all just falls into place, you know, because I am here sitting down and listening. And it's amazing that you know, first of all, we had Julie, I think it was, who spoke about the nutrition. I love the forest bathing. You know, I had a whole heap of mental stuff going on with the forest bathing. I just released a whole heap of things.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then, you know, we have Jackie who came in and she spoke about trying to find some outdoor time also, you know, to try and balance off yourself. And then the mental health part of it is so critical because, you know, I don't know about you, but I know whenever I get low in spirit, I don't get anything done. So I have to find a way to try and take myself out of it, because that's when you get the energy. And some of these solutions lie in a forum like this, where you know that, first of all, you're not alone. You know, other people share that heart, that soul. And you know what? I'm going to get back to my purpose. Because I could go all the 15 minutes. But, you know, what is your purpose and how does it factor into your life? You know, I know that for years, I didn't know anything about purpose. You know I was living, I know I was doing stuff, and you don't even know that it was part of something. So what is your purpose? A purpose, when you have purpose, you have a reason for something to be done or to be created or exist. Why are we existing? It goes back to the nutrition, it goes back to the mental health, it goes back to all of that. Because you can have all of that, as you said, Donna. And you can have all of that, but why? Why? A reason to exist. So whoever brings us on this planet, you know that you didn't make clay and make yourself. So even in that, if you're not a Christian worshiper, whoever you are, you do understand that creation, who you are, is here for a reason. And I'm here to just kind of go through a couple of things that you could probably look out for. The first thing I want to tell you, because it doesn't matter what age you are before you realize your purpose. You know, sometimes, you know, you see some little people in a church, and you know, the guy is like 8 years old and he's like, Lord have mercy, Jesus. And you say to yourself, what do you know about that at 8? And you said, can he really know his purpose from that age? And then some of us get to older life, and then you say to yourself, what is my purpose? So at that point, I'm going to say to you, kind of look at your history. Because the one thing that God does, he lines up your history to your purpose. God lines up your history to your purpose. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be peaches and cream. So I am going to kind of go through what is P? What is P in purpose? And you can put your words for me with P, purpose. My first thing is you have to be present to yourself. I think Jackie that said, you have to know yourself. It's okay to be who you are. So you have to be present to yourself. So I have 2 sisters, and they are 2 different people, but they're present to themselves. So you have to be present to yourself in order to know that you have your own purpose. You can come from a family of 10. 10 of you have 10 different types of purpose on this earth. Then the you have to now sit back and understand. Because some of us are grasping at stuff. You know, we heard that we have to have purpose. We know that we must exist for a reason. And we become so hard, we're working so hard. If we just sat back a minute to try to understand who you are, whose you are, and your history. I go back to the history. Okay. Then the R. Once you've understood and once you're present to it, you have to be ready. You have to be ready. Some of us don't want to be ready, though, you know. Some of us don't want the purpose because it may come with another P word, pain.
Sure.
So once the pain comes in, you say, no, man, that could have been my purpose, man, because, you know. But what happened to our dear Jesus? Our dear Jesus went through pain so that we can have salvation. So if that is, sometimes we don't run away from it. So we have to be ready. We have to be mentally ready. We have to be physically ready. We have to be ready in our spiritual being. Because finding your purpose is a spiritual thing. We can't run away from that because the world is noisy. And you ever get to a busy intersection, sometimes you know that you're supposed to be going right, but then the cars are so crowded over right, you go to the left. And when you go to the left, you realize that down the road, there's a whole set of cars down there. You try to make it back into the right lane to go back over. The world is noisy. When the world is noisy, you cannot be ready. Because first of all, the mental state that you're in, as those guys spoke about, is important for you to be ready. And then the other P, I put pain. Sometimes our purpose comes with pain. It comes with criticism when people don't understand your purpose and see you in Jamaica, they say, move in a certain way. They don't understand that you are purposed to do something, and it's painful sometimes. So sometimes we have to look at pain in a different kind of light. What am I learning from this? What am I getting out of this? Is it in the same history that's helping me to do my purpose? Always be present, like what I said. Understand, be ready. And when you come upon the pain, trust me, there will be a solution. You know, my nephew Marcus says, everything has a solution. Every single problem has a solution. So it doesn't matter if you think a certain way, because that's one of the downfalls of us as human beings. We feel like we must think a certain way and everybody must think our way. In our time, oh, that's a big joke, you know. Sometimes I think God laughs after us. God laughs at us because we want things done in a certain time. But when you are purposed, it's not your time anymore. Once you realize your purpose, then the O, you have to be obedient. Lord, that one bites some people. You don't want to be obedient because you don't want the pain. You don't want anybody to laugh at you. You don't want anybody to think, you know, Jerry's really a strange kind of girl. You know, Jackie, she gone off on her own thing about mental things. You have to be obedient, not to people, but to that beautiful source for which we are attached. So we have to be obedient. Another O is open, because you know how we can close our minds. You know how we can close our minds to things. I was just thinking about our hair. Sometimes if you have long hair, somebody going to say, and you say, boy, I feel like I want to cut off my hair. Somebody said, Lord of mercy, you're going to do that? Your hair is your temple, your here and here and here and here. But what about if you are called to cut your hair in order to facilitate the help of people with cancer, the help of others with things that they can't have here? What about if you're in solidarity of something? That means you have to give up yourself. You have to give up what people think about you. That's when you start to find your purpose. When you start to find your purpose, you know it doesn't matter.
Right.
We just go ahead and follow it.
Yeah.
And then the S is for shift. All right, Miss Palmina. She's coming up next with shift. But the shift, yes, this is the same thing Pal is going to talk about. I won't even go deep into it because you have to be ready for that. And you have to be sensitive to those who are not ready. You have to be sensitive to those who are not ready. There are some people who are not ready to find their purpose. They're trying to find earthly things. And then, you know, what what makes me think sometimes is when we find earthly things, no problem. But when we find earthly things and then start to minimize the purpose, that is where I have a problem. And then the E, it's effortless. Wow. When you find your purpose,
That's right.
God make it so effortless. He put certain people like this group of people who are on here now. In church this morning, my priest spoke about the movie The Chosen, that every disciple had troubles. But they were so ready to follow their purpose, right? And the other thing he spoke about is Judas. Judas was purposed too, you know. Judas is why all of these things came about. And Jesus chose Judas as a disciple.
Man.
And he says, everybody need to have a Judas in them family. Because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you knowing what your purpose is. And then experiences. Now, if you look at yourself, look at your experiences coming up. We talk about the history. You know, I was this young girl that, you know, had this holy energy and people were following me, and every minute they tell me that I have the light and you know, I can make them feel good and all of that. And you thought you were entertainment, but it's your purpose. So I know for me, it is to do this, to try to spread my wings so that people, women, you know, people just know who we are. So yes, God shows me what your purpose is. And I will close with this. I was at a traffic light, and you know, in Jamaica, they wipe your windshields and they ask for money. And I told this guy, I don't have any money, and so on. And he passed. And then another one came running from somewhere and said, and I said, no, didn't you see me tell the other one that I don't want it? And he said to me, I didn't come to wipe your windscreen. I saw a light shining off of you. A light, and I came to get some. Whoa. Purpose. So take your time. Don't listen to the world all the time. You know, we have many fires that we're out in. We're in jobs that, you know, they need targets, they need this, they need that, and your head full. But your purpose will cause you to shine, as you said. So thank you very much. And Donna, thank you, because I know you wear many hats, but I am the only one wearing a hat this evening. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you so much. Your tip on purpose. It's amazing when you find purpose. You don't care about what others have to say. You just your communication is with God, and you go with the flow. You ignore naysayers because you know where your instructions are coming from. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We are going to go forward and talk about shifting the mindset. And today we have, we're jumping from Jamaica, now flying over to Canada, to Dr. Palmina Gordon, who's a transformation speaker. Her focus is shifting the mind Welcome, pal.
Donna, thank you so much for having me. It is white outside. We are having a storm, but I'm so glad that when you have purpose and when you have a community like this one, you carry a different light that shines. So I'm happy to be here. Hello, I am Dr. Palmina Gordon. I am a former federal employee who transitioned into entrepreneurship after I picked up my bag to go to work one day and the thought of going postal made sense. Today, after an early retirement, I'm a motivational speaker and a certified business coach. I'm also a certified cosmetologist. I have 2 books that are presently on Amazon. One is called Order It, and it speaks to the power of your words. What you say is always what you will get in your life. And it's important to pay attention to that. And the second one is Making the Shift to Success, shifting how we think, how we see ourselves, how we behave, and the impact that it has in our lives. And of course, I'm an international speaker. I have several awards, including 2 International Women of Excellence Award, a Global Ambassador Award. There is a documentary that has won Barcelona International Film Festival and the Toronto International Film Festival with myself and 7 other women, just sharing our stories of how we survived abuse. And we have decided that we want to use that to encourage women to know that it doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what you have gone through, you are able to do it. And of course, my most recent award is the Doctor of Humanity Award from Theophany University. So with that, again, thank you for having me. Les Brown says, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. When I was about 16 years old, I was standing on the bus going home, and it's not like the transit we have now that's proper and orderly, it's full. And this guy looked up at me and he said, "You're so ugly." And something inside of me died. Growing up, I was a victim of abuse. I hated myself. I hated my life. And this young man had no idea. So that made me very afraid of relationship, afraid of everything. So what I did as a teenager, I declared that when I grow up, I'm going to raise my children by myself because I don't believe there's a man that's going to love me and my children the way we deserve. Power of the word. 30 years or so later, I found myself broken, and living in my sister's basement. I was divorced, living with my kids, and I cried out, "God, how did I end up here?" And you know what he said? He said, "That's what you ordered." I'm like, what? And he showed me myself saying that when I grow up, I want to raise my children by myself. So today, what I want to share with you is that we have to change our mindset and our negative beliefs about the situation and the circumstances we're in at present, because it creates our future. 2, we have to realize and accept that you and we have unlimited potential. We haven't tapped half of what we're possible or capable of doing. And 3, we have to take action. We have to do something. If God brings something to your awareness, if you're here and he's speaking to you through the speakers and the stories that are being shared, it's because he wants you to take action. So that moment when God said you ordered it, that's when my mindset started to shift, because that's when he started to teach me that whatever comes out of my mouth goes into my future and create my reality. It's a seed that I am planting. So when we start to shift our mind, the first thing we have to do is do what all the other speakers have said combined. Spending time in nature, looking at your purpose, your pain, everything, and then be quiet before you speak. Because when we speak in our anger and out of our pain and our hurt, we are making something that is not necessarily the best thing for us. So I had to shift. I had to change how I react to things right now because I knew it was creating my future. It's the exact same way for you. What you do now in this moment determines what your future will be. So I made a decision to unleash my life, to remove doubts, my fears, my limited beliefs, and I fell in love with myself. Every one of the speakers alluded to that, and I can stand before you and tell you that that was the moment my life really began to change. And it's been one of the things I do for the last, 7 years. I make sure I get up and I spend time to have that conversation with me and love me, not expecting someone on the outside to love me and to tell me that. So falling in love with myself, my life did a 360-degree turn. And I started to realize I am beautiful. That's the same thing for you. Shifting your mind, shifting your situation, making the shift is being willing to take the time to truly look at who you are. Wake up in the morning without makeup. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am beautiful. At first, your stomach might churn. What? But I promise you, as you keep to affirm the woman that is on the inside, she will begin to transform and shift and come forward on the outside. And then 3, you must take action. That little tip that I gave you was what started my journey of transformation. Someone said, go back to your hotel room, look at yourself and say, I am beautiful. I felt I was going to throw up. Oh my God. I did it the next morning. I felt the same way. And I've been doing it every day since then. That led me to discover personal development. In order to shift your mind, you have to be willing to develop. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. And a part of investing in yourself is not just paying the money, it's doing the activity. You have an untapped reservoir of potential that has not yet been unleashed. And one of my assignments today is to let you know that someone is waiting on your story. Someone needs your experience, your journey, your purpose in order to get them to that place where they can start their transformation to grow into the next best version of themselves. Because of my transition, one of the events that I run, I teach a class that is entitled Unlimited Potential Mindset Success, because I focus on releasing that potential that is locked up within the mind and starting to believe in yourself. That belief will transform your life. Today, as I sell hope to women and help them to unleash their lives, my life and those of my children have moved from broke and broken to bright and bountiful. We just want to help people elevate and transform their lives. It's time for you to embrace your possibility. In order to do that, you have to want your life to be better. You are here not by accident, not by chance. You are here because today is your time. It's your time to change your mindset. First, by recognizing who you are, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that there is absolutely no one else in the world like you. No one can do what you do. And then 2, realize that you have an unlimited potential to impact at least one person. Don't care how many million people are in the world. Focus on the one. God, who is the one person that I can make a difference to? If you do that every day, I promise you, somebody will show up. Somebody will show up for you to smile. Somebody will show up for you to sit in your car and be a light that they will try to come and get that light from you. And then take the action. Become better. Do what it is that God is guiding you to. Benjamin Franklin says, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Don't let that be your story. Don't wake up one day like me and realize that I wasted the greater part of my life living a negative story because that was what I thought was possible for me. I had a plan, it wasn't a good plan. Dr. Martin Luther King says that you should have a good, sound, and solid blueprint for your life, meaning you should sit and think, what would my ideal life look like in all its area, all its possibility, and then you should write that down. And the moment you do that, it begins to happen for you, because that's a seed that you have planted. So with that, what I would like to do today, with Donna's permission, is extend an invitation to each of you to an event that is happening on the 28th of this month. It's called Design Your Life. It's a blueprint session where you get to sit and ask yourself, what would my ideal life look like? You get the opportunity to have myself, as well as Marcella and a couple other leaders, help you to craft that, because every building that has ever been erected had a blueprint. And the foreman, when you see him on the site, he has this document under his arm. And if he's looking and this window doesn't, he looks at it, oh, that's not where it's supposed to be. That's the same thing God has for you. We could call it your purpose. It's the same thing. So with that, I invite you to join us, and find, as you connect with me on social media, my information will be in the chat, that you can get the tools and the resources to elevate your life. Thank you, Donna, for the opportunity to share my platform on YouTube that you see here, Shift, simply helping individuals find their truth, their passion, and their purpose. If you have a story that you believe you would like to share with us, I invite you to come and join us. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Palmina, Dr. Palmina Gordon, for your wonderful words. You know, I hope you all are finding, we're taking notes. I see some people are taking notes, because these are, again, tips to elevate you. And not because you're 30 years old or 40 or 50 or 60. We all have room for elevation, whether you're a teenager, 10 years old, etc. As we finish up, I'm going to just summarize that we are children of God. We are channels that God use on this earth to do his assignments and to fulfill his purpose. But when we are bogged down, we're clogged, with negative thoughts, negative emotions, childhood trauma that we carried from we were 6 years old, 8 years old, or even domestic violence or something like that, we can't really be that channel is blocked. So we have to take action. Like you hear everyone say, we have to take action to then unblock the channel so we can be the best version of ourselves. Throughout the Bible, it tells us to love God with our heart, mind, and soul. That is for our protection. The Bible tells us to guard our hearts, cleanse our heart, renew our mind. That is all for our protection. The Bible tells us to represent as fruits of the Spirit, all for our protection. I look at life, and my discovery has led me to believe that life is like a chemistry project, and it's a formula. And some people know the formula and some people don't know the formula. And if you've taken, you understand that certain formulas always produce a certain result, right? If I don't know the formulas, but in science class that no matter what race you are, what religion you are, how old you are, what culture, etc., that if you mix the certain type of formulas together, it will always produce a certain outcome. And so today, I want to share with you that there are two formulas that we have. One is when we sit in consistent negative vibrational frequency thoughts, negative beliefs, negative emotions, that we're doing a recipe, we're doing a formula, right? And a formula is going to then transfer out to be negative, or negative response is going to be negative people, negative relationships, things happening to you going to work, coming from work, just consistent negative, or what we call foolishness, and you're just going to see a lot of that because you're mixing the wrong formula. You're just in this consistent day in, day out throughout the day. And the formula happens 24/7. So throughout the day, if you're in a consistent mixing up of envy and fear and doubt and complaining and anger and strife and unforgiveness and sadness and the backbiting and the gossiping and the things that you didn't get rid of, the people that you hate that hurt you, you are mixing up a poison formula for your own life. And you don't mean to, because you're a good person. You go to church, you volunteer, you do everything you're supposed to do, but you're stewing in a formula, poisonous gas. Now that formula is then affecting your health. It affects you mentally, and it affects you physically and spiritually. So you have to then wake up every day knowing, wow, what kind of formula am I making today? Because I'm making a formula. So if you want to make a positive formula to see more positive results in your life, then you have to start mixing different things. You can't mix the anger and the fear and the doubt and the worry. And, Bob Marley he did a song that says, worry is a prayer to the devil. So when we're sitting and we are mixing these formulas quietly because we're not telling anyone how we feel, so we're hiding it, and we're like, oh yeah, I'm just worrying about my child, myself, my job, my health, all on my own. You're mixing up a recipe in your body that then turns into diseases, turns into cancer, turns into blood blood pressure and all these different things, right? So now it's time to learn to mix up a good formula. And the good formula, the top ingredient is love, right? How many times does the Bible say love? Love, 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 love throughout the Bible, love. And the top commandment is love God with your mind. That means your thoughts. Think about good things. Think about positive, empowering things. Love God with your heart. That means getting rid of the strife, the unforgiveness, the person that hurt you, you know, or the parent or whoever that stabbed you in the back or traumatized you physically. You got to release that, right? So, and then you've got to release, you've got to take care of your body. You have to eat better. You have to detox more. The food that we eat now is not the same. The chicken and the cow and everything else that we eat today is not the same. It's filled with poison. It's filled with antibiotics, right? So we have to do more detox. We said we have to then reduce the meat, reduce the dairy. So again, these things, everything that is beneficial for us, we have to be responsible. We have to take accountability, okay? So when you mix the good things now and the positive thoughts and the positive feelings, then there's something, we don't know much about it, but we know it's called vibes. If you listen to any of Bob Marley's songs, you'll hear, we talk a lot about vibes, and we didn't really know, but we understood sometimes when we met someone, we came about, we just knew, I'm not liking their vibes. I'm not liking their energy, right? Sometimes we've met our men and we got negative vibes from that man, but because he had status or money, etc., we still continued in that relationship, and of course, it had to bring the pain. So we don't listen to nature. We've stopped listening to our vibes, and that is, we have to kind of get back again on the nature path. So I teach about something called a 2-minute vitamin G, which is vitamin God, right? So 2 minutes at different intervals, because, you know, people always say, I don't have time. I don't have time. If you don't make time to improve yourself, who's going to do it? That is one thing that you cannot hire out. So the vitamin G is really God and goodness. So you take little times throughout the day. Everybody has a little 2 minutes. Shut down the social media, reduce all that. You know, basically, before you even wake up, you should be infusing your thoughts, your mind, your heart with love. And so I created a technique called Alive, and A is for affirmation. And you can take 1 minute of just saying positive affirmations to yourself. Now, understand that to learn to renew the mind takes work. You've had a language. Let's say right now you speak English and you try to learn Spanish. You can't pray it away. You can't just say, God, help me speak Spanish, and that's it. You have to do the work. You have to take the action to listen to the Spanish and to repeat. So we learn by repetition. We learn by hearing. So start incorporating positive affirmations to yourself on a daily basis. So that's a 1 minute. And you can just say, you know, things that resonates with you, like, I'm amazing. I am divinely protected. You know, I mean, you just say things that, you know, don't just mouth certain things. I like to say, like, I'm a child of God. And because I'm a child of God, I am perfect, whole, and complete. And I not only do this for myself, I do it for my husband, I do it for my children, I do it for my family, because my energy is a positive energy, is now gonna break generational curses by me focusing on goodness and mercy for my children, for my family. So we have that power as wombs to then create and put that positive energy into the world. So you say, because I'm a child of God, I am surrounded by divine love and light, divine peace and harmony, divine health, wealth, happiness, divine riches, success and prosperity, divine wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You put in, those are my shortcuts, but usually I go A to Z. So you've got to put that work in. L is love. That's that gratitude time where you're quiet and you just feel in love. And you put your hands over your heart and you feel your own heartbeat and you're quiet and listen to your heartbeat and feel the presence of God, feel the presence of love that's saturating you, saturating the cells. In fact, you guys, take a second and just do that. Feel your heart. Feel your heartbeat pounding. That's your energy. And you just take your deep breaths. I am a child of God. I am love and light. I'm surrounded by God's divine blessings, confidence, courage, cash flow, creativity, energy, faith, flow, goodness, love, light, mercy, manifestations, truth. You just go down, and you do that. I is imagination. Okay, hands off the heart now. Is imagination. Take 1 minute to imagine your life, your best life, not the life that looks in your budget, but the life that you want for you and your family. We think small, so we get small. If you want the boat, visualize the boat. If you want the kind of car or the house, visualize it. If you want the family trips, visualize it. It's your job to imagine your life the way you want it. No, just say, if I had $1 million right now, how would my life be? No restrictions. Would you be self-employed? Would you be employed? But what would you do? What would you do with your money? We have to learn to dream big and think big and plot goodness. V is vision. You should have a vision board. Whether I keep my vision on my phone, so it's easy to download pictures and so forth. But you can, especially as children, our young people, they should be having vision.
That's right.
Vision will change, but they still need to have a blueprint, or you will wander in the wilderness. You will stay in dry places longer without a vision. And E, from my alive theory, is encouragement. Encourage yourself. As I do my walks or throughout the day, I'm saying, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, Donna. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I'm so proud of how you're eating, or what you're doing with your family. Talk to yourself, encourage yourself, all right? So that was ALIVE. One good thing to also do is write your gratitude. Do a journal. In my journal, I do half gratitude, and then I do half forgiveness. Forgiveness journal is really important. If you want to cleanse, yes, if you want to cleanse generational curses, if you're seeing addictions and certain things popping up in your children and you know where it came from, then you have to go to work on your family. So you have to write, forgive me. I write or sometimes I would say 4 times a week on average. Forgive me, God, for my emotional sins, for my financial sins, for my mental sins, for my physical sins, for my sexual sins. You've got to get real and you got to ask forgiveness. That's right. Ask forgiveness on behalf of my parents and their ancestors.
Yeah.
Ask forgiveness on behalf of the children of the father of my children and his ancestors. For my husband and his ancestors. because I'm trying to get the cleansing all around. Okay, as women, when we've had sex with men for all these years and different energy in us, you've got to cleanse. You've got to do the forgiveness cleanse. Okay, so make it easy. Just do top half of your paper, gratitude, what you're thankful for, and then the other half is forgiveness, and release the emotions, the negative emotions that's in yourself, because you are walking around in negative, destructive energy. Don't understand it. We don't understand it, but there's an energy. We are energetic beings. We are spiritual beings, and we attract what we are inside, who we are inside, our consciousness. So if you are vibing low and sad and depressed, you're gonna attract more of those people and situations to come into your life. When you are vibing higher and positive and in love, true love, you're gonna attract a different people, circumstances and people. And so God, that's why God warns us repeatedly, guard your heart. Don't just sit and watch TV all day long and listen to news about negative. There's another side. There's a part of the world that's awesome. So if you're thinking, the world is bad and negative, guess what? That's into your spirit.
That's right.
Guard your heart, guard your ears, what you're hearing, what you're listening to, because it's affecting your vibration. And that's how we communicate. And that's how God can channel us and give us the blessings. We have blessings, but we're blocked. We are blocking our own blessings because we have this person up and that person, we haven't forgive them all these years, and auntie and mother and all these different things that we have going on. We are blocking the channel. We are the channel. So just spend time. Could be 5 minutes. And you can't do just once in the morning and then you spend the rest of your day quarreling and arguing, right? It needs to be at least a 51%. So you have to then shift. You have to purposely throughout the day be on fueling the mind with positive thoughts, fueling the heart so that the soul can change, the soul shift. And you will see the results. You will see the change, and people will say, what are you doing? And did you change your hair? No, I'm just communicating to God differently. And that is my tip for you today. Sharon, I think I've seen you. Did you want to, I know you're not a panelist, but did you want to share anything with us, Sharon, and anyone else that wants to share something real quick as we finalize? You're muted, Sharon.
Yes, call me Sharon. Sharon. I am right where I'm meant to be. God has blessed me abundantly. I feel I'm at home with you ladies. I'm from Deer Lake, Newfoundland. I'm a mom of 3. My divorce is going through on January 31st. I have broke generational trauma and God got me through. Whew.
Amen.
Everything you're saying resonates with me. I've got quite the story going through the healing with my parents, being the referee between them. They self-medicated through alcoholism. I was molested by a female babysitter, didn't know what sexuality was. But, looking at how everything is turning a 360 for me now, it's, sorry, one second. Sorry about that. So everything is doing a 360 right now, and I've been shown every step of the way. Everything that you guys are saying is resonating. And I feel like after I actually listened to Dr. Martin Luther King, I had wrote it was something about a puzzle. all the puzzles of my life and how it's all fitting together. And I just feel this is where this is where I'm meant to be. And also I lost everybody in my family to cancer. I was actually, everybody, I'm talking about my whole family's been wiped out. And so when I was introduced to seed-based nutrition, and I well appreciate what plant-based nutrition is, however, I feel like the path that God has put me on, and I said, Lord, how am I going to help people in the way that I want to, that you're calling me to, with, because at the time I owned a flower shop. I owned an internet cafe, or a coffee shop, and some edible fruit arrangements. So I was introduced to seed-based nutrition in 2019. And, because we're simple humans, we only use 10% of our brain. We have to see to believe at times when you're not awakened to his holiness. So when I was able to address hypothyroidism that I struggled with for 20 years, my husband had chronic rheumatoid arthritis. He addressed that. And now we're actually have 2 cancer clients that we're working with that are still here and cancer free. That it radically changed my life. So because of my fear of death, because of my lack of knowledge of what source is, what God is, I didn't know how to heal myself mentally, physically, and spiritually. Although the seeds were planted when my parents took me to church, but then there was a lot of things that weren't resonating with me in the church because I just felt it was much more. And so with all of this and everything that you guys are saying and the acronyms, and it's like, I lived this. I feel like I've lived this thousands of years over and over. And I've got a big message, and I'm just so blessed and honored and humbled to be a part of this today and meeting all you guys. Like, this is really something. I really want to spread the word on how God works and how we heal ourselves, and that there's no separation, ladies.
Right.
Like, there's no separation. There's no, and my experience with spirit, being able to connect my loved ones with their loved ones on the other side. Guys, I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled that I get to share in this experience. And I'm just in deep gratitude. I'm so deeply in gratitude. I feel like I'm just overwhelmed, but I deserve this. We all deserve peace and love and happiness and abundance and joy and prosperity. And God didn't put us here to suffer.
Right.
He didn't put us here to suffer. And I'm understanding now. Actually, I just had this huge revelation this morning with, the mind and the soul, and how coming into, and then it's just the bigger picture is the dark and the light, the yin and the yang, the mind and the soul, good and evil. And, God is teaching us because he has a plan for us even after we pass on, And I'm telling you, my nanny, she's a warrior. She's my gatekeeper. And she's saying, girl, you're strong. And she's forever, taking me by the hand and showing me. But I'm so in awe of you ladies. And I just really want to thank you. And I can't wait to start this movement. I'm so excited. Thank you very much.
Sharon, who invited you? Just so we.
Palmonia.
Newfoundland, Canada. Hey, Sharon, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for showing up, girl, and thank you for blessing us, even as for serving. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fellow too, and that's how Palmonia and I had met. So it's the first time we get to see you. You're so beautiful, and I can't wait to learn a bit more. But I haven't done anything with myself in the past 3 years because I've been grieving my past life, and I'm just like, I can't wait to get notified now.
So thank you, Sharon. So I'm on Facebook at Inner Vibes with a Z consultant. I do a blog also pretty much almost every day. It's deep, but I think at this point in our life, we need deep. We can't, we got to shift. And so we've got to do the work, and we've got to take the accountability that we are playing a part. And so I like to make up like the chemistry thing so we can kind of see it how we're the ones mixing up the chemistry, the recipe, the formula. So this is being streamed live on Facebook at Women of Culture with a K, INC. So Women of Culture, INC. You can also follow us on Instagram at Women of Culture with a K, INC. Again, my name is Donna Morton Morgan, and it's been a blessing to be here with you this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And if all hearts are well, like we say in church, I don't think anyone else has anything else to say or to comment. We thank you for those in the background. We thank you for joining us. Please reach out, connect, so we can continue to build. Thank you again for our panelists, of course, you know, for always coming through. And remember, love. Find your space, find that you know, praying is talking to God. Meditation is listening. You get your creativity, you get your ideas, you get your next move when we're quiet. Learn to be still. Shut up more. All right. God bless you, everyone. And until next time.
Thank you.